swear I've done this for a few times already. There we go. Oh, welcome everyone. We're just going to, I think I'm live. Yeah, there we go. Have to wait for my preview to catch up, even though I'm on low latency, like extremely low latency. Sometimes it actually seems like it takes forever, but oh well. I am very surprised that I was able to squeeze in today. I am dead tired. I am, I shifted a few things around with my schedule just so I could make it here today, because I just could not wait for Tuesday to continue drawing. You started streaming the second I turned in the literal worst drawing I've ever seen. Hey, Bucky, good to see you, and I'm sorry that you weren't satisfied with your work. That's always a bummer when you are not, you know, you don't like your own work. Well, hopefully get them next time, man. I believe in you. But yeah, oof, it has been a week. Let me tell you that. A lot of stress, a lot of shit going on. It has, oof. But it is a good time to be here and just get some drawing done. As my back cracks from all the stress. I hope you didn't hear that. It was pretty loud. Okay, well, today this was what I was able to get done in my limited time. I will say that I am, thankfully, getting faster at making skeletons. It's not the worst skeleton in the world. We are doing a female character today since the last finished drawing was my latte knight, and he is a masculine form. So, just gonna touch this up real quick because I don't like that bulge in the forehead. I specifically went out of my way to make that bulge in the forehead without actually looking at it. And now I hate it. So we're just gonna smooth that out just a little bit. Smooth that out just a little bit by making sure that this character is kind of looking down. I didn't want to do another basic 3/4. It looks pretty good, thank you. I appreciate that. This was really rushed, considering I had so many things on my plate. Not just the food I was eating at the time, because I do this during lunch. But yeah, I was literally doing 3 things at once during lunch. I was watching my lessons, the lesson videos for drawing, doing this, and as well as doing another project. So, for the short amount of time, I'm quite pleased. But, okay, we can actually move on from the skeleton, I think. Hey Gabrielle, welcome, welcome. Good to see you again. I forgot what I was doing. Okay, layer 3. This is where we're going to start building into the body. So let me go ahead and actually label this. Oh jeez, oh jeez. My stylus got caught in my drawing glove. What was I going to name this? Body? That's what I usually like to. Let's go ahead and drop this down. Actually, we'll layer this as well. Layer this. Woo! Please excuse me today as I forget how to speak English. I am literally surviving off of the coffee I just chugged before the stream. Alright. So this is where the trick comes into play. Where do we start? I always have a hard time choosing where to start, and I think I just need to pick a place and start going. I'm on the wrong layer. Start with the head here. Let me get this shape in. We're not going to worry about too much about the facial details just yet. That always comes much later. I always like to do the face a lot later. That way I can figure out what the body's doing and then get the face to tell the story, you know? Let me see something here. Okay. No. Go ahead and make sure that shoulder is defined. We'll draw the start of an arm. That may be a little too thin there. Shoulder may need to be moved in. Let me see there. Yeah, it's kind of sticking out. It really sucks when I catch something like that, like, you know what, I'm actually going to go down to the sketch and copy and paste it, well not copy and paste it, but kind of move the arm in, that way it can kind of confuse me. Since I do have it like that looks a lot better. And let me clean up that broken line real quick. Nope. The good thing is that that hardly changes the perspective of the chest. Okay. Cool. Cool. There we go. I think that looks a lot better. You and your boobs. Yes. I'm excited that you are excited about my drawings. I'll take it if it's just boobs. Whatever hype I can get, I will take it. It's funny because, you know, I come from a Western comics, background of, I've read quite a numerous comics in my day. Not so much manga, and female characters in Marvel and DC comics more specifically do tend to have very voluptuous boobs. I, for one, am not a fan of, you know, overexpressing them. Okay, let's just draw the arms in. That way we have a fundamental aspect of what we're working with. And to each their own. Some people like to over exaggerate, especially in anime and manga. I have seen that a lot. Not not harking on anyone if they do. I personally just don't find it as appealing, especially because I go for a more, I guess, realistic, or I plan on going for a more realistic outlook. Not to say that someone can't have those sizes, but I can guarantee you right now, I have not seen someone, especially with some of the sizes I've seen in anime as of recently, since I've been studying anime. I've been watching a little bit more. Now the interesting thing is I'm actually taking a slightly bigger head approach, leaving the head slightly larger than normal because I want to see if I can adjust what I've learned to draw someone that is slightly younger looking. Because you know they teach you standards on how to draw, but they teach you the standards of like matured people for your bases. So trying to adjust all that in order to fit in line with the younger people that I may have to draw, because I do plan on drawing, you know, at least teenagers. Don't know about kids. Doubt I would draw too many kids, at least detailed kids, I should say. So I am actually using a tip for a 6 head height. It is a 6 head height with a very little added to the bottom. So it's like a 6 and a 5th head height, I guess you would say. And you keep the head roughly around the same size, and you kind of like thin out the proportions. And it there are certain other things that you do in order to give it a more youthful look, like mainly the eyes and the forehead will be accentuated. But yeah, definitely this is going to be a teenager-esque build. One of my main side characters is going to be a teenager, so definitely need to learn how to draw teenagers at the very least. You can see my thing kind of going crazy there because I didn't know what to do. No, I am going to actually bring this out just a bit because she is popping her hip in a kind of condescending manner. So is this like a Batman and Robin thing? The relationship between my main character and the female teenager, kind of. It's a little more not so direct. Um, I have about maybe 8 side characters that I kind of focus on along with my main hero, and one of them is a teenager. Most of them are adults, and even, you know, I don't want to say adult, or like super old, but I do have one guy who's like late 30s. Yeah. So I have a wide range of the main cast, I should say. Legal adults. Well, yes, she will be a legal adult, but I do have a another person who is like either 40ish, 40, 40 years. He's probably my oldest, quote unquote, main character. Okay, so actually this side would be a lot more straighter because of the way the hip is being contoured. This is actually going to be hard to draw because it's really hard to get those really soft curves. That's a good one. That goes straight into like almost a straight line. That one's not too bad. That only took me like 10 tries. How does man survive so long in a world full of gods and monsters? So, not to give too much away, but there is a faction of much powerful superheroes that, as soon as superpowers started developing in people, like real superpowers, they took the initiative and formed a super team in order to police the other people. So they're kind of like their own faction. You can't really police them, but they are like, they consider themselves the real superheroes. And they keep the rest of the people that have superpowers in line just by being so strong that no one else can challenge them. And they're allowed to do so because, you know, you can't tell them no, technically. They're just so strong, you can't really, like, say, you can't do that. So they actually go around and police superheroes, but they're a smaller faction of, like, super powered people. So they can't govern everything. And so there's still a little bit of chaos, but they kind of show up for the major stuff. And that's actually where my hero comes into play. He is not part of that group. He is the person who has to struggle with the areas of the world where they really don't intervene, and he has to take the laws into his own hand. Since they are such a small faction of, like, elitist, I guess you would say. There's a lot of different personal connections between the characters, without giving too much away, because I would hate to spoil everything before I actually learn to draw and actually can draw it for you guys. So I kind of learned something about the legs today in my lessons, and I'm trying to figure out how to do it properly, where like the bulges of the legs are offset. I never knew that. So I think, if I remember correctly, I don't have my, my lessons in front of me, so I'm trying to go off of memory here. Something like that. Let me look at my own leg real quick. Okay, so the inside is lower. Okay, so I had it backwards. It would do something like that. So this bulge higher. And I think this kind of, nope. Bulges around there. Maybe? Those are some really heavy curves I need to fix. But I just wanted to... Or maybe I don't have to fix that. Maybe I have to actually fix this leg. It's off center now. Oh, poop. That's better. It's a little off-centered, but... I think we could fix that. Doing that. This actually has a much shallower thing like that. I think. No. Had that backwards. It's this part that has that curve in. Okay. That's not too bad, I think. The embarrassing part is when I was having to figure out how this pose worked, I literally had to get up from my seat and do it, and thankfully no one came in to see me doing this pose, because I needed to know how to actually how the hips worked in this. Like, you see it 1,000 times, but until you actually like pay attention to it, is it like, do you notice what the hips are actually doing? And I found that out a lot with drawing in general. I had seen things so many times in my life. You look at hands, you look at all these other things, and it's just like, you finally take time to actually like look at it, and it's completely different from what you actually have in mind. Like, now we've all been there. Yeah, I know, it's so eye-opening. Like, even now, like, I'm watching TV and I see someone go into a 3/4 profile, and I'm like, oh yeah, I can see the the nose peak, and I can see the eye. I can see where the eye line is. Like, it's so weird. I love it. It's interesting. It's a whole different perspective that I've, uh, I guess, being awoken to. Of actually, like, so, in martial arts, you're trained to read someone, to learn their attacks. And so, studying detail is nothing new to me, but it's like where you're looking is so radical to me that it is something that I can't believe that I've missed it for how long I've been studying the body for different things. Like, I studied psychology, so I've studied facial features for a long time. You know? I had that backwards. But now it's like I can see the lines. I can see the lines that make this person a person. Like in everyday life. Like, there was a TV on when I was drawing this, and I just happened to look up during a commercial. And I was like, okay, I was still in drawing mode. Like, my mind was still set on drawing, so, like, I was looking at the people in the commercial, like, okay, I can see this, like, this is how I would kind of picture I would do it if I was drawing it. It's so cool. Like, it is just a whole different perspective. And for people that have been doing it their entire lives, it's like, man, that's cool. You guys are lucky. Okay. So I need to actually fix that because I pushed out the hip and I forgot to change some things. Okay. See, now I'm having trouble with perspective here because this leg needs to be in the back, and it is now looking like it's in the front. Maybe if I just do this, maybe that little bit of line is enough to keep to the illusion. Let's actually try something else here. Oops. Forgot I had a big eraser. That's a little weird. Don't like that. Okay. Okay. think if a person was in this pose, this hand would be in a fist. I don't think it would be an open hand. So let's go ahead and build this person with a fist. It's a little too big. See, does that work with the perspective? Hand actually is a little small. But that can actually be okay because maybe not that small. I just looked at the preview. Oh my gosh, that's tiny. Need to make that a tad bigger. Too big. Why am I drawing the same line like 1,000 times? Oh my god. Stop it. Seems to be better. I always have a problem because I always start with the pinky side, and so I always make the pinky huge. Oh, what time is it? Okay. Now, as much as I love that I was able to even make it out today, I do have to remember that I have to be up ridiculously tomorrow, today. So like this week has not been kind. But what can you do? Okay, so no, that was in the correct position. What time do I have to get up? F5, no. order to make it to where I need to go, I need to get up at 6. Something's bothering me about this hand. See if I'm making a fist. Oh. Had it completely backwards. Yikes. My arm is going all the way down, making a fist. The pinky is a little more straight, not the index finger. It still comes out a little bit. I have to make sure that when I recreate the hands, I don't take away from the wrist, length of the wrist. So as you can see, I was making the hand shorter and shorter. Something more along the lines of that. Oof. I need to learn how to draw sized hands. I think my biggest problem is that, like I said, my sketch, I just kind of drew circles to where I wanted the wrist and the hands to start. And like I had stated before, it will mess me up because if something is there, it's very hard for me to go past that. It's hard for me to see past the outline that is wrong. That's much better. That's why I'm so picky about getting my sketches right, because I know once I start committing to it, it'll ruin me if I'm not picky. Let's come to this hand. This is going to be an interesting one. Trying to get that perspective of the thumb comes here and then it kind of leads into the finger here. So it'll follow up like that. Those fingers might be scary long. So, capes. The more some do. Not in the traditional sense. The dude that I was telling you about that is like uber powerful, he wears a cape because he's practically so strong that he doesn't fear anything about his cape. But most people don't have the money to actually have like a superhero costume unless you're part of like the super powerful team. So most people don't have legitimate costumes. Think old Tobey Maguire Spider-Man when he first became Spider-Man, where they just kind of put together whatever they can find in order to hide their identity. That's the majority of people, I should say. Okay, let me block in some fingers just to see. I'm probably going to make them too thick to start off with. But I don't know how to do this pose here. I mean, I did it to myself. I don't know what made me think. So like, what I mean by the traditional cape is he has an off-the-shoulder cape. So it is a cape, but it's more like a very fancy thing. Everyday people or the capes? I don't know what you were asking. Oh, that could work. I just need to clean it up. Oh, that can definitely work. Okay, cool. I think I stumbled into something that will at least work. Let me actually get rid of this. It's in the way. Okay, rather than just drawing lines, let me draw where I believe the tips would be. capes, I feel like you can make one relatively cheap, unless they're made of exotic materials. Yeah, uh, I mean, you could get capes, but actually, I do have one of my heroes have a cape, but that's because he's very well. Actually, two of them, I should say. They're very stereotypical heroes. They're very flashy. One needs to be flashy, and one is just so pompous that he uh, is borderline. What's that word? Uh, where like you're always thinking about yourself. Narcissistic? I think that's the word I'm looking for. Hey, thank you. Did you see that? Yeah, you did. My whole zoom in bar disappeared. What? Why is it disappearing? That's weird. If I take it away, is that what happens? So if I take my pen off, no? I have no idea why that was happening. That's super skeleton-y. What did I do with the fingers? What did I just do? Oh my god, they're so small. Let's see how far back I can. Okay. All this needs to go. All of it. That's a yikes. Oof. I feel like that's a good length for the fingers. I just need to make them actual fingers and not twigs. These two fingers need to be increased. I think the other ones are fine. He's still too small. See if this works. That might still be too small. Can't really judge. Let's make them a little bit longer. I feel like they are... Ooh. You know what that might be. I think the knuckles need to be back here. That's way too much of a curve. Need to be thicker too. I need to make up the whole hand. Okay. 1, 2, 2, 3, 4. Make sure I have a good amount of before I kind of lose sight of longer. That looks 1,000 times better. Is technically higher or lower on the hand, but higher in this case. this would actually be hidden by the chest. Side chesto! I just came into contact with that meme. It's actually hilarious. I love the side chesto meme. I was actually watching that anime. And boy, did that take me back to my days of working out. Okay, so since the point of view is coming from this direction, definitely a lot more emphasis on this side of the breasts. Oops. Alright, let's focus on the feet. And we can start going into detailing. Okay, so I've been streaming for an hour. Body feels like I've been streaming for 3. Now the real fun thing is going to be when I decide what kind of clothing this person's going to have. Because that's just a whole nother headache I have to put on myself. I can tell you one thing. It ain't gonna be high heels. Because that changes the whole legs. Whole legs change. The whole butt changes. Oh boy, I am dreading the day. Maybe that's something I need to actually. You can just take the easy way out and just color the flesh. And just make this person nude. I mean, I could, but Twitter may not like that. Also, I am not at any point ready for coloring just yet. I am still learning to draw. Skin tight clothing. High heel changes the butt? Yes, it does. High heels actually round out the butt because you are putting pressure on certain muscles, and that causes your butt to actually tighten since you're on your toes. The weird things you find out when you're learning to draw. skin tight clothing? Oh, I guess I could do that. I definitely could do like a bodysuit type of thing. But I need to practice clothing anyway. That is one of my weak spots because I am definitely not a person that pays attention to clothing. Like I said before, a lot of my history is looking at people, not necessarily their fashion sense. So I do lack in that department. So this one, we're actually going to go with a very simplistic nose. She's going to be a little pissed off. Like if someone just did something she said specifically not to. Like, why did you just do that? Let's see, the ear is actually going to be around here. Make it a little bigger. Now for the eyes. Now, for a younger fella, or I guess fella means dude. That's weird. For a younger girl, I guess, they say to lower the eyes on the head to increase the size of the forehead and to make the eyes bigger. So we're going to do that. I do want a reference of some eyes. I think. Oh, you know, no, we're gonna do it from scratch because I did learn that lesson today. I learned what you should start off with first. I'm actually going to decrease this. That way I can get many lines in here. I can actually get like a decent line. Alright. Ooh, that's a good point. Where do we want her looking? Do we want her looking this way, like someone over here did something? Or do we want to be the people? Like she's kind of like looking at us. Ooh, that'd be fun if like she's looking at us like, I can't believe you did that. Oh no, she's aware. She's onto you, man. She knows that you want her in tight clothing. Just gonna clean up the cheek a little bit, that way my lines don't aren't necessarily over crossing where they don't need to be, just from thickness. Alright, so because she's going to be looking at us, I think something like that. Give her bigger eyes like that. Give her a little frown marks. Now, one of the things they said was you really don't emphasize the bottom, like down here. Oops. In fact, sometimes it's even left out. But I have seen some artists, they put a few eyelashes on the bottom. Now, I think I need to move this ever so slightly down. Now it looks like she's looking at us. Oh, no, 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 no. Put that back. And move this one up. Because she is looking, like her head is tilted down, so her eyes have to be looking a little bit up. much. That way it's not directly in the center. It might be a little too thick. I do like thick eyebrows, but not that thick. Alright, so this part is going to be shaded in. That part's going to be shaded in. And for the sake of it, for adding a little bit of emotion, I'm gonna put some tears forming in her eyes like she's disappointed in us. Case. Let's swing this out a little bit higher. What kind of hair should we give this person? Short hair, short spiky hair, long flowy hair. Ooh, you know what I have? Well, I kind of did do a ponytail, so that's kind of the same thing. Could go with a ponytail again. That's pretty standard, at least from where I am from. Let's start giving her maybe a standard short hair. Straight short hair. What hair will you draw in the future? Depends on the character. I want all different styles of hair. Um, I'm definitely not going to be drawing like Dragon Ball Z style hair. That one's pretty much off limits unless there's a very specific character that I feel, you know, would have that. But for the most part, I want to stick to modern hairstyles. Like, yes, my setting is in the future, but I think I personally want to stick to, modern hair, especially like more a little unkept for the people in the lower class, I guess you would say. Um, Messy hair, people with like stubby beards. Um, for the girls, like their tangled up hair, or you know, not like where like it kind of like flows off like something a little more wild because they're going to be in action. So if they have long hair, it's going to get all. But for the most part, modernized hair. I don't see why that would change too drastically, considering it hasn't. I don't want to say it hasn't changed because it has changed quite a bit. I actually saw a video on that, on how drastic hair has changed within like the last 20 years. So the only reason I'm probably going to keep it is for the sake of ease. And I don't feel like coming up with my own hairstyles. I may pull from like more of a punk setting where some of them have like shorter, spikier hair, like especially like covering over the eye, like stuff like that. But for the most part, like I have everyday scientists, I have people riding motorcycles. Like I'm gonna stick to a little more modernized and like let those weird hairs be for individuals. That way they stand out more, I guess. That's one thing I actually haven't done yet is straight bangs. Oh boy, that's gonna be tough. I have not done straight bangs before. Okay, so straight bangs kind of follow like something like this. Where they kind of come from the head. Then block out. I'm gonna need a reference for this because I don't think I've ever really done straight bangs before. Let's see if I can find a quick picture in my study book for straight bangs. Where's the chapter on hair? Ah, there was one. I see. So it still follows the parting position, but it just kind of creates this weird thing. I say weird thing. Okay. So this is hard because I don't want to copy the one in the book. I want to use what I've learned to make my own. Starting to get tired, so I'm not talking as much anymore. Whew. How does that look? Go to sleep? I know. I just get so caught up into this. Uh, Maybe once I finish the hair. Once I'm content with the hair, I'll go to sleep. I think that'll be a good stopping point. Eh. Let's go ahead and take a look how this would look with the rest of it. I go off, a couple of things of note. Boobs are off-centered. Off-center. Actually, maybe I can do that real quick. What did I just do? What did I just do? Of course I didn't add a new layer, I just put it on the hair layer. That's beautiful. I think that was the layer I accidentally made. Let's get right up in there. If we can't. I'm on the wrong layer, huh? That needs to be done on the sketch first. Maybe there. See if I can't clean that up too. Come on. Better. change that to hair before I forget. Let's go ahead and go ahead and save. How long was I streaming? Oh, 2 hours. Yeah. Oh well. Oh wait, no. I already had a file. I can just save over that. Then we do it for the Twitter, which is a PNG. I don't know what that does. Okay, well, thanks for the people coming out. I had a lot of fun chatting, creating this character. Um, thanks for keeping me motivated while I practice. But I will leave you all here and head to sleep. Head to bed. As I'm probably gonna knock out the second I hit the hay. So I'm just gonna say, hopefully I will see you next time, which will probably be on Tuesday, because tomorrow is gonna be one hell of a day. And since I suck at outros, I'm just gonna say goodbye.